Walking around the neighborhood, Ollie saw a bunch of lost dog and lost cat, not lost kitten posters. It wasn't a bunch of different dogs and cats, though, mind you. It was a single dog and a single kitten. And their owners, not the same people, and different phone numbers on them, but they put flyers everywhere. They were really concerned about their animals. And Ollie kept on walking around and seeing more of these signs. Then he decided, you know what, if these people care that much, I'm taking up this case pro bono. I'm going to help them find their dog and their cat. I'm going to help these people find their dog and these people help find their cat. So he started off by calling all the shelters. And none of them had found or been sent any, dogs or cats that matched the description. But Ollie asked him to keep an eye out and give him a call as soon as they could if, such animals appeared. Then Ollie started going on some of the neighborhood sites, like the, friends of the neighborhood Facebook group and the next door group and all that kind of a thing. And eventually he said he would he got a response back from Sim that said, now that you mention it, I saw something on my security camera. So I went over, met with the person, and they looked at the security camera together. I said, I was just looking through, and I don't usually get much on this camera because it looks down at the train tracks. But a couple of days ago, I got this weird, it's kind of on a motion sensor, so it only records when there's motion. And I saw this, and he played the video. And what Ollie saw was that there's a very small shape that kind of went tumbling down the hill, going down into the train yard. And following that, there was a bigger shape that ran down the same hill. Like I said, I didn't think about it at the time, but now that you mention the cat and the dog being missing, it looks kind of like a kitten going down the hill by accident and a dog going down the hill after it. And then you can see here, there's a few times that the dog tries to get back up the hill, but it can't. The hill's too steep. I said, oh man, so they're probably down in the train yard. I said, oh man, that's not a safe place to be. All right, we gotta move quick. So we called in some friends, told them what they needed to do. And the friends went to either end of where the little valley for the train came out to flat land. One end's over in Remington, and the other end's over kind of by St. Louis Drive. And they got a hold of the of CSX, the company that owns the tracks. Told them they had an animal missing on the tracks, and so they stopped all the trains. They said, 2 hours. We can stop the trains for 2 hours. And so the two teams started coming in from either side. Ollie climbed right down the same hill where the video had been. He started looking and calling out, here puppy, here puppy, 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 here kitten. And he had a little bag of treats and he had a little bell. He was just trying everything, and all the groups were. And I was looking around. And when he got down there, he thought, okay, if I was a dog or a cat, where would I go once I got stuck down here? And he looked around, and on the north side of the train valley, it was just a sheer wall. You didn't know where to go. But the south wall was more, is a gentle, well, not a gentle slope, but more of a slope. And he saw that if he looked to the east, it looked like walls on either side for a long way. But when he looked to the west, it looked brighter, more well lit. And it looked like you could almost see where it was going to even out. So he thought, well, if I was a dog and I was thinking, or a cat, I would go towards where it's going to flatten out. So Ollie headed that way. As he walked along, he looked very carefully because he thought if these animals were down in this train yard and a train came by, they'd be very scared. So they'd probably hide. So he was looking for a place that a dog or a cat, but maybe even a dog and a cat, would hide. He walked along and he walked along. He kept on whistling and ringing his bell and shaking his bag of treats. And then he heard a little... Oh, I stopped. I said, "Hey there, puppy. Hey, come here to help you. I've got some treats." Well, I followed the sound. And on the south side of the wall, right near one of the bridges, there was a little alcove underneath. And I shone his flashlight in there, and there was a very wet, scared-looking dog and a very wet, scared-looking kitten. But they were okay. So I gave them their treats, and they were nervous at first, but then they figured out that Ollie was a friend. And he'd brought some leashes. So he put a leash on the dog and picked up the cat. He started walking toward one of the entrances, one of the the flat areas where he could get out easily. When he got the dog out, they were scared. They were all wet. They looked like they'd been in the train yard for a day, which they had. Kind of skinny and scared and shaky. But he had them. And Ollie had radioed ahead and told the owners, "I've got your animals. They're safe. We're going to be coming out on the Remington side." And as soon as Ollie caught sight of the group that was working their way from that side toward the middle, he heard shouting. And then 4 different people came running, busted out from the group and ran toward Ollie. And they ran up, they sprinted to him, and they said, "Oh, Muffins, you're okay. Oh, Baxter, you're all right. Oh, we were so worried." And the animals, they were ecstatic because those were their people. And the dog went and licked the person's face, and the cat went and snuggled up right with this person. They said, "What on earth happened?" And one of the owner of the cat said, "I think I know what happened. You see, I've seen your dog and my cat. They've been hanging out. They're friends. And I heard about the video. So I think my dumb cat tripped and fell and rolled down into the train yard, and your dog went to try and rescue. They were such good friends." "Oh, Ollie, we didn't even... I don't know, what do we owe you for..." I said, no, this one was on me. I couldn't stand to think about these poor animals lost and confused. And when I figured out the train yard thing, that's even worse. So no, this one I did because I wanted to. This one's on the house. I said, "Well, Ollie, you're a real friend to the animals. This was a kind thing. I don't think we could have pulled all these resources together by ourselves." I said, "Well, I'm glad that things I know how to do were able to help." They walked all out of the train yard. They'd radioed to the people on the other side and told them the animals were found. They can head back up. And they went back up, and they had a big old celebration, a big old barbecue there in the open space to celebrate. The animals, the cat, and the dog that were lost were found again. And that was the story of Ollie and the missing dog and the missing cat.